Lone Ranger.
Hello, everybody. Don't be alarmed. I'm not an outlaw. So just get comfortable, and for the next few minutes, we're going to talk about a character, the fictional character, down through the years that has inspired a lot of people. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the origin of him. And in another episode, I want to show you some beautiful comics, back portraits on the back side of some of these comics. About 145 issues, and several of them had some beautiful portraits, which I'll show you in another episode. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this individual known as the Lone Ranger. My producer and I happened to find this in a bag of potato chips, and no, I don't think he manufactured it on his own. I think he actually found that. So we thought of it as like kind of like a portent of what we're about to do. And I thought, first of all, I'd talk a little bit about the origin of the Lone Ranger. There are two main theories or opinions about how the Lone Ranger character got started. This is one of the very first books that came out. It's called A Large Feature. There were four of the large features, and then 9 of the regular size, comic size feature books of the Lone Ranger. And I'm going to show you some of those examples in just a moment. But I wanted to talk about the origin of the Lone Ranger. Some say it might have been taken as an idea from Zane Grey's book, The Lone Star Ranger. And the book that he wrote, called The Lone Star Ranger, was dedicated to a Captain Hughes, who was a real Texas Ranger, and he actually hunted down some outlaws that killed a ranger friend of his named Frank Jones. And some say that the Lone Ranger, later, when it started in 1933, when the radio episode started, that this came from that Zane Grey book. And of course, some people say that it may have, the character of the Lone Ranger may have been patterned after a real Texas Ranger by the name of Bass Reeves, who was an African-American, a Texas Ranger who did a lot of heroic ranger work back in his day. But I wanted to show you some of these books. Of course, this is book number 7, feature number 7. And then there was another book called feature number 715, put out by Whitman. And it's just as scarce. Both of these books are very scarce. They're listed as scarce in the Overstreet Price Guide. They're kind of hard to get, being scarce. Now, there's some books that came before these. An ice cream company put out book number 1 and book number 2. Now, they're really scarce. They're so scarce or rare that they didn't even put a price in the price guide for what you might find if they were in a high condition, in a very good condition. But I wanted to show you also these regular size feature books, comic books. This is number 118 of the Lone Ranger, and notice he has on a blue shirt there, but it's red inside. Now, down through the years when they were making these comics, there was a little bit of controversy about blue shirt, red shirt, and in the Dell comic series, number 37 there's supposed to be a variant of it, and if you happen to find it, because he has a red shirt on the cover and it's red inside, but Dell caught it before too many copies went out. But it's a variant, and it's very rare. Now here is number 125 feature book, And by the way, that's not Tonto that he's hitting there. It's another enemy American Indian that he and Tonto were fighting. But this is feature book number 125. And these feature books and the ice cream giveaway books, and of course there were some giveaway books by Cheerios and the Silver Cup Bread Company, and also I think Merita Bread got in on that too. But those are very, if you can find those books, you found something good, and I think you'll enjoy reading the stories. Now, as to the movies that were put out about the Lone Ranger, several of them were put out in a location out in Monument Valley, and I happened to have an opportunity to go out to Monument Valley and see Monument Rock, and that's me there. And then also I was able to stand at John Ford Point, where, you know, John Ford made a lot of John Wayne movies out there, but I was fortunate to be there at John Ford Point. And I think in the latest Lone Ranger movie, which featured Armie Hammer and also not Michael Horse, but Johnny Depp, it shows them out there on that point. I've got a picture of it here somewhere here. Here it is. It showed Armie Hammer and Johnny Depp on their horses out there on John Ford Point. But I want to share with you some other things I've learned about the Lone Ranger, and I want to give credit to a website by a young man by the name of Jeff Kepley. He has a website, and I learned quite a bit more that I didn't know about the Lone Ranger from his website. I'll end this episode this way. I appreciate the relationship that the Lone Ranger and Tonto had. You know, the good book said this about friendship. It said, there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. And, you know, if a man wants to have a friend, then he needs to be friendly. So I think that was illustrated in a relationship that Lone Ranger and Tonto had. You know, Tonto could be described also as a kemosabe, trusty scout or faithful friend. So I'll end with that, and look for these next episodes that I'll be doing about the Lone Ranger, and please subscribe and give me a like if you will, and thank you.
Every horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger.
This is a story of one of the most mysterious characters to appear in the early days of the West. He was